Hello guys and welcome to Aero Productions YouTube channel. My name is Kazungu Duncan. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a realistic skin texture in Photoshop. You might have lost this texture through retouching or through editing your photos, and when you want to print your photos you realize that you don't have the right texture. And first of all, I want to thank this lady Charity Idaya, who has allowed me to use her photos for this tutorial. Now there are few things we are going to do. It's not that much complex. First of all, I want to work on this photo so that it is a bit presentable. First of all, I will make a copy of this just in case I make a mistake. I'll go back to it. So I'll call this edit. You may call it the way you want, but let me call it edit. Then on this I may close this one. On this I just want to edit, to change the exposure, to change the lighting, and so on and so forth. So first of all, I'll have curves. Just come here, click and go for curves, and then I'll change this red, green, blue colors, and I may want to reduce it this way. Then I'll go select for red, and I give a bit, I raise the red in it. Not too much of it because it will not look good. I will reduce the greens in this photo. It depends with the type of photo you have. Then the blues, I would want to increase them. A disclaimer is that you may hear some noise in the background. Kindly know that I am working from home. Now I will also add an exposure, and I want just to slightly increase the lighting. Just slightly increase it so that you can see really her face and all that. Then the offset, I want to give it something like negative 0.0042. Then for gamma correction, I just want to increase it to about 0.95. You may see a little bit of the change. You can see it's a bit adding some good thing into it. Then lastly, I want to add a vibrance, and just need to have like something like 12, positive 12 for vibrance, and saturation I give it something like 6. Now at least you can see I have let me make this one layer. Just select both of them, select the top, then come here, hold shift and click to select all of them, right click, and then merge the layer so that it is only one layer. Now if you look at this, this is before and this is after. At least we are somewhere. Now I need now to start the process of making a realistic skin texture. Now the first thing you have to do is to create an empty layer on top of this layer. This is called vibrance. Let's just call it edit so that I do not confuse you. Now on this I need to create an empty layer, so I'll just come here and say create new layer, and on this layer I need to give it a fill, so I'll go for edit and then fill. And then on this contents you'll have to choose. By default it will be foreground color or background color, but then I want you to choose the 50% gray, and leave this to normal, leave this to 100, then say okay. The reason why I'm choosing 50% gray, you might have seen it in different tutorials, it's that the 50% gray is in between black and white, so that's why I am choosing that. Then after that I need to now give this first of all I want to make this layer and I'll convert it to a smart object. The reason why I'm doing this is because whatever I'll be doing in this layer I can go back and re-edit it, so that's why I'm converting it to a smart object. And then I will want to give it a texture. Now I'll come to filter. When the layer is selected, come to filter and then come to filter gallery. Then in the filter gallery it will load, of course. Then under the texture you choose the texturizer. Then on the texture you choose sandstone. the reason why I'm choosing sandstone is because it's near to the skin texture of a human being. But if you choose something like canvas, it's not that fair, it's not that good. You look at this, it's not that beautiful. Look at bricks, no one can have a face that look like a brick. So of course the one that is near to the skin of a person is sandstone. Then I would want to also maybe increase the scaling and so on and so forth. So it depends with the type of image that you have. And for this, let's leave it as default, then just click OK. Then at least you see we have texturized our layer. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to conduct an emboss. So of course I'll come to filter, then come to style, and then emboss. The reason why I'm doing this, you'll realize if your image is nearer, I just need to increase the height of these textures, and if the image is far or further away, I would want also to reduce the height. But for example, for our image, you realize that our image is a bit nearer, so I'll want to increase it. Maybe I can leave it at 14 or 15. Then you'll also want to change the amount of the embossment. Of course, it's by default will be 100, but then you can reduce it to 85 to 80 depending on the type of image you have. For example, for this tutorial, let me use 86, then say OK. Then the next thing I want to do, in this photo you must know where the light is coming from. For example, when I look at her, the light was coming from I may say it was coming from my top left, because you can see here the lighting is here. Of course it cannot come from the top right. For this tutorial or for this image, it is coming from the top left. So I'll come to filter, gallery. I want to change something. I just double click and change. Then you see when you choose texturizer, when you come here, you can change where the light is coming from. So for example, I've said depending on the image you have, you look where the light is coming from, then you will choose the favorable side where the light is coming from. But for this is coming from the top left, so I'll select the top left and say OK. The next thing I want to do is when this is on, I just need to apply a little bit of blurriness. So I'll just come to filter again, go to blur, and then I'll add Gaussian blur. You'll want to change this blur according to the image, but then I don't want to blur the whole of my image, so I just need to apply a little bit of the blurring. So I want to use something like 1.0 pixels, then I just say OK. Now after this, I think we are about to reach where we want, at least to achieve a skin tone. So you can wonder why it's still this, you are not seeing anything. So what I want to do, I want to change the blending mode of this layer. So I'll come to blending options and choose something close to you can say overlay, but I want to use soft light. So you can see now it's now blending into the image that we have. But again, someone would ask me, the texture is even into the eyes, into the teeth, everywhere, even in the background. But that is not what I want. Of course, I need the texture to be on the face alone. So what I want to do is I want to create a layer mask. So what I'll come here on the bottom, after the layers on the bottom, I'll add a layer mask. So I just left click on that, but still it has not changed. So what I want to do is I want to invert this layer mask so that I have the blacks. The white reveals and the black color conceals. So for example, this one is white, it has revealed all the textures. So I want to conceal it first, then I will reveal it wherever I want it to appear. So what I have to come and do is to select this layer mask. Do not select this, of course select this layer mask, and then hit Command I or Control I on your keyboard. Then you'll realize that the texture is lost. So make sure here on the color boxes the white is on the top, not the black. Of course, now I've said the white reveals and the black conceals. So I'll make sure that I magnify this into the face. Then I will choose, I will pick a soft brush or hit just B on the keyboard. I'll choose a soft brush. Of course, this is a soft brush. Then maybe you want to increase the size and all that. Then what I'll do, I'll come to opacity and have something like 40 or 35. 35. I'll also come to flow and have something like also 35, just like that. Then I will now paint whenever I want that to appear, the texture to appear. So as I paint, you'll realize that the texture is being revealed, and if you see it's not being revealed, you come back here and increase the amount of texture that is in here. And just to mention, the relief shows the intensity of your texture. Maybe increase it to something like 120, then this to something like 6 or 7, and say okay, so that I can see, at least I can see. Yeah, I think you can now see it's being revealed. And I'll paint to the places I want to have the texture. I can reduce the size of the brush and print to precise places, just like this, just like that. So you may not want to overdo it, because someone will realize, you know, you have really destroyed the image. Just do a little bit of it, do not overdo it. Be professional and just do something beautiful. You may want to reduce the size, I mean to increase the size. I think it's loading a bit slower, that's why. If you are new to this channel, I would like you to hit that subscribe button, and in case you like this video, I will also want you to like it and share it to friends and family, so that they can also learn this. You can also turn on the notification bell, so that you may be notified whenever I apply or I upload a new video. Now I have realized that the texture is too much. It's too much. So what I'll do is just double click on the filter gallery and try to reduce these textures. I'll reduce it to something like 65, the relief to something like 4, and say okay. Yeah, that's a bit beautiful. So that's without. I can zoom in so that you see. That is without, that is after. At least when you are going to print this, someone will really see the originality in this photo. It will not look like you edited it. And in case you want to increase the embossment or to reduce, you just double click here, say okay, and then maybe reduce the heights and change maybe the angle. When you change, you'll realize that also it's changing, so you'll give it to a favorite place where it suits you. In case you want to increase the size, if your photo is too bad, you can increase. If it is a bit good, you can reduce it. But I guess where we were, I think 85, let me see, something like 70. I think I can use 50. 50 is good. Then that angle, I guess it's good, and say okay. So you'll want to make it to perfection until you achieve the image you want. But these are just the simple steps that you can do and make your photo look so beautiful. So if I can show you, this was before and this is after. So you can see between the two photos which one is beautiful. Of course, your client would like to have this photo, and when you print it, you really realize that this photo is quality, and you realize that your client would have liked that much more than what she offered. And I want to say, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification, so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Otherwise, let's meet in the next tutorial.